Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, however and whenever you're practicing. My name is 𝗔𝗿𝘁𝘁𝘀, and welcome to 30-Minute Stretch. Before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. In today's practice, we're going to need a few props: a strap, a block, a bolster, and a trusty seat. I would highly recommend using a couch, an ottoman, something that helps you for your seat today. If you don't have any of these props, be sure to hit that link so you can follow along and get all of the props that you need. Let's get started. Be sure to put your props off to the side. Let's get started in a seated position. Take your strap, take it up overhead, and let's put a little bend in the elbows here. You can shake your head side to side. And just be mindful that you're not arching in the back or sticking the rib cage out. Let's go ahead and lengthen the arms behind us. Open up the hands as wide as you need and shake the head side to side. If you're familiar with my seated chair pose exercises, this might seem very familiar, but don't worry, we won't be resting in this position too long. Go ahead and bring the arms back overhead, and let's take this a few times. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, take the arms behind you. And then reach the arms back up and around. We'll take this about 5 times, moving to the rhythm of our breath. Inhale up. Exhale, release. Inhale up. Exhale, release. I'll be quiet for the next 4 rounds and just let yourself drop in to what you're experiencing. You might start to shake the head side to side. Again, just moving very slowly. Becoming aware of any tension you might be holding in the jaw. Our neck and shoulders tend to hold quite a lot of tension from overthinking. It's where our stress tends to get deposited. And again, always being very mindful of the shoulders and the hips, working within the range that feels good for you and your body. And go ahead now and take the strap, place it off to the side. We're going to get into a very deep stretch today. So one way is to stand up, and if this feels good for you, you can hold on to a wall, a chair, any place that feels good. Reach that right foot back. Hold on to your right foot. And once again, if you have any issues with balance, feel free to hold on to a wall, a chair, something that you feel stable with. This is a deep quad stretch. Gets into the quad, gets into the psoas muscle, the 𝗁. You might start to kick your foot into your hand. When we start to work with large muscle groups like the legs, the back, the muscle does not tend to release until approximately 30 seconds and then longer of holding. These stretches are called assisted integrated stretch. So either you're assisting by using your hand or a strap. And then go ahead and release that right leg down. Take a moment as you plant your feet. Feel free to bring your hands to your hips as you level your pelvis. Shift your weight over to the right leg, and if you can, reach back for that left foot. Feel free to hold on to, well, not the curtains, but a wall, someplace where you can rest your right hand, again, if balance is challenging for you. And kick that left foot into the hands, moving it away from the buttock. You might feel a little lift of the heart here. Notice if you might be stifling or holding your breath. Energy goes where the breath flows. So again, just being mindful of where you can sustain for your own body. Where is the energy circulating here? And then release that left leg down. Take a moment as you rock your hips side to side. Might massage the fronts of your hip flexors. And then let's go ahead, let's tilt ourselves forward here, hands towards the blocks. Keep a little micro bend in the knees. And we're gonna reach the right leg forward. Little calf stretch here. If for any reason you need to do this while you're seated, this is exactly why this ottoman is here. But if you can, this helps with balance as well. So peeling the toes back, growing the spine long. And if you happen to do a lot of walking, our calves get very tight. Backs of the knees, backs of the thighs. Release that right leg, take a nice smooth breath, grow the spine long here, shake your head side to side. And then let's trade the right leg for the left. I'll get this block out of the way. Fred Flintstone your foot. If you don't quite know what that means, I'm giving myself away with my age here. But if you don't know what it means step your foot as if you are stepping on a gas pedal. So the toes are moving back and you're really accentuating the ball mound here. I gave that reference in my class in New York. Fred Flintstone your foot, and the laughter erupted in the room. It was nice to know that I was not alone with that reference. One more smooth breath here. And then go ahead and step that left leg back. Grow the spine long here. Inhale. Let's pour ourselves forward. And we're going to interlace our fingers, reach the arms back, work the shoulder blades. Few options. You can stay here. Palms don't quite reach. And to clasp together, use that strap. I'm going to double my strap here as I show you. And I'm feeling this across my biceps, my shoulders, low back is releasing. Let's nod the head a few times, yes. Let's shake the head side to side. Slowly come up. Let's go ahead and circle the arms around a few times. Circle them the opposite way. So we're going to take a variation on that calf stretch. And this time, I'm going to invite you to take a short stance. It's almost as if you're in pyramid pose. So you're not quite on a tightrope. One foot is in line with each hip. And then from here, you're going to bend both legs. Keep the back heel on the ground and center your weight. So you're not too far forward, you're not too far back. And then pause here. You might be feeling that sensation in the Achilles. And then notice if you might be hijacking your stretch, right? Your shoulders might be up if this is quite intense. Where can you allow your body to not hijack the energy and really focus just on that back heel? And step that leg back. Let's go ahead and trade one leg for the other. Again, not quite on a tightrope. As you can see, I'm in a pretty wide stance, and then bending both knees. For my marathoners, anybody that is a runner, my dancers, power walkers, or even strolling. If you just like to take long walks, really important to stretch out all of these muscles. Ooh, this right calf is feeling the effects. Slowly step that leg back. All right, so here's where we're definitely going to need our bench today. I'm going to show you a little bit of a deeper stretch for the quad. And it looks like this. If you can, you're going to take this left leg back. And if you have any knee sensitivity, caution away from this. So I'm going to hook my left foot on top. And then from here, a few options. I can keep my fingertips on top of the blocks. And I'm going to continue to move this out of the way so you can see. I'm going to continue not to sink forward, but to draw my hips back towards the ottoman here. Now for my range, it feels good for me to have my hands on the ottoman. You might need it a little bit higher. So again, playing with what feels good for your body. Where can you maintain? And this is a very deep variation of that quad stretch. Always like to caution you and remind that it's not the range. Right? We're working with many different anatomies. Some of us have injuries. I have scoliosis. So always important to make the adjustments that we need and not compare ourselves. And then let's go ahead and we're going to trade one leg out for the other. So I like to get out of this by moving the bolster back, lifting this knee up, and just taking a moment as I let my quads, my knees, a little massage here on the knee, come back into balance. Let's do that on the opposite side. Right foot's gonna go back. And as I mentioned, I have scoliosis, so one side's always a little bit more accessible, a little bit more user-friendly. The side tends to be a little bit more I wouldn't say easeful. It's the opposite of that. So again, working our way as best as we can. Take a few moments here. When we're doing deep stretch work like this, I'll move this out of the way. I always recommend starting a little bit lower on the dial and then increasing as you go. A little bit more difficult to turn down the flame once you've increased it to its fullest velocity. You can always do that, but we want to gradually turn up the heat. And you'll start to notice that after 30 seconds, going into 60, going into 90, going into 2 minutes, your body starts to relax. You're no longer in a space of wanting to jump out of the pose. So again, very important to start where you can manage, where you can maintain. And we call it the full complete breath. Can I have a full complete inhalation, full complete exhalation in each shape without wanting to jump out of the hot seat? Let's take one more smooth breath here to inhale. And slowly let's come out of this. Again, skipping this if it doesn't feel good for your knees. It's giving you some options. Full massage with the knees. And just notice how this feels on the low back, right? So the quad, the QL, quadratus lumborum, and the deep psoas, they wrap around to the back. Let's go ahead now and take a smooth breath. Reach the arms up. We're going to take a side bend over to that left side. So you can use your bolster if you'd like here. Brings it a little bit higher. I have long arms, so I'm going to lean on the side. Let's come on back to center. Let's do that on the opposite side, either laying on your bolster with that right arm or on the couch, wherever you are. And come on back up. So now we're going to get into some back bends. We're going to come to have a seat on our blocks. And then once again, you might need to arrange this according to your level. From here, a very deep back bend like this requires time. So I highly recommend placing your bolster underneath your shoulders first. And from here, I'm going to visualize a line of energy tethering me from the ceiling to my heart, and my ribs are lifting up, my arms are supported, and I'm able to sustain this. Making any adjustments that you need. If you need to make this a little bit higher or lower, depending on your anatomy. You might close the eyes here. If this doesn't quite feel good for you, you can place the hands behind the head. One of the visuals that I like to give here is to visualize a line, almost like skinny jeans. A line from the pubis bone moving up through the belly, through the throat, through the chin. So there's a constant upward lift here. We're not bottoming out. We're not dumping into the back. But there's a lift out of the ribs, a lift out of the heart. And with a deep stretch like this, very, very important to sustain this shape. So once again, I recommend you knowing where the dial is for you. This might be a great place for some of you to stay. I highly recommend, if that feels like it's doing wonders for you, absolutely stay there. I'm going to show the deeper option if that's available to you. So I'm going to come off of the blocks. And from here, I'm going to lift my seat just a little bit, allow my head to reach back. Notice that my arms are wide, right? This allows the spaciousness between the shoulder blades to move away from the midline of the spine and give the latissimus dorsi, the big, large muscle of the back, a nice elongated stretch. And then I'm working my tailbone down as I'm lifting my heart up. Always working within the range of what your anatomy feels like for each day. And these two rivers of energy that I'm talking about, the downward energy moving up, the upward energy moving down, we get a little deeper into those rivers of energy or currents of energy in my Artistry of Yoga classes. So if you haven't yet dropped in, that class is 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, online on Zoom. Smooth breath to inhale, and we'll take 5 rounds of deep full body breaths here before we come out of this. Exhaling it out through the nostrils. Inhale, feel that zipper line from pubis bone all the way up through the throat, through the crown. Inhale. Exhale it out. Again, inhale. And exhale. Two more times. You feel the side ribs expanding, the armpits opening up, the neck is softening, lower abdomen moving down to the earth. Exhale. And one more time. Slowly lift your head. Take your time here. Let the arms come back to center. Contrary to popular belief, when you go into deep back bends, the last thing you want to do is a forward fold. So we don't want to do that. To counter this posture, what we will do is place our legs on top of our ottoman or couch. So we're going to go ahead and place our legs up, our shoulders down, our arms overhead. And let your legs be supported now. I'm going to go ahead and place the bolster underneath my calves here. And then we can take a quick ankle to knee pose. So cross that right ankle over the top of the left thigh. Flex or Fred Flintstone your foot. You can call it everting the toes. Evert that right side baby toe towards the left side thigh. You might even take that right hand on the right thigh and work the right foot. Right thigh towards the chair. Can't speak. That back bend was very illuminating. And that's just it, folks. We want to make sure that when we are stretching, we are enjoying and feeling the yumminess of the shape, not stretching and feeling discomfort or struggling. Let's take that right leg away. Take a moment here, let your palms face up, might shake the legs a little bit. And then let's go ahead and do that on the opposite side. Left foot crosses over. I just like to give my ankles, my calf muscles a little bit of a boost. You don't have to place it on the bolster, but if you like having a little massage underneath, that's just always lovely. And then same thing here, evert the left toes, left hand on the left thigh, work that thigh away from the midline of the body. Let your back body and bones be heavy into the earth. These very deep stretches get into the fascia, they get into the ligaments, the tendons, all those little minute nuts and bolts that hold our large muscle groups to the structure of our spine. Left leg is going to uncross. And take a moment here. Stretch the arms out overhead and then stretch the toes. Keep walking your feet. And again, feel this feeling of peeling the skin or feeling the skin lift all the way up from abdomen through the top of the crown. Head is working side to side. Slowly draw the knees in. And take a moment here, lengthening the spine. So there's a little bit of traction that's involved. You can press your feet against the couch or against the bolster or ottoman if you have a setup like I do. And we're going to take 5 rounds of breath here again. Backs of the hands as wide as you need. Let's move this out of the way. So feel your whole shoulder blade, your heart on the ground. And then the tailbone is lengthening. Traction of the spine here helps to counter that back bend. 5 rounds of full breath. Let's roll over to the right side and come up to a comfortable seat with your head arriving last. Bring the palms to the heart center and just bow your head, taking a little bit of gratitude for this time that you've given to yourself. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you know when the next practice drops.